how the Bible was never meant to be taken literally, but deeply. If you've ever opened the Bible and felt inspired one moment, yet uneasy or confused the next, there is nothing wrong with you. Many thoughtful people carry this experience quietly. They don't reject Scripture. They don't abandon faith. They simply stop engaging in the same way they once did, often without a clear explanation for why. Somewhere along the way, reading the Bible began to feel heavy rather than illuminating, and many assume the problem is with them. But what if it isn't? For generations, people have been taught that reading the Bible correctly means reading it literally. The stories are assumed to be historical accounts. The teachings are treated as instructions to follow or beliefs to accept. And when this literal approach conflicts with lived experience, people often turn that tension inward. They think, I must not have enough faith, or I don't understand this the way I should. Yet confusion is not a failure of faith. Often, it is a sign that a deeper way of seeing is trying to emerge. Here's the insight that changes everything. The Bible was never written as a literal record meant to be believed word for word. It was written as a symbolic language, a way of describing the inner life using story, image, and metaphor. Scripture is not primarily about what happened long ago. It is about what happens within human consciousness, again and again. Ancient writers did not have the language of psychology or neuroscience, so they used stories. They spoke of places, journeys, conflicts, and transformations to describe inner states of being. Egypt represents bondage, not just physical captivity, but the inner experience of limitation and fear. The wilderness represents transition, uncertainty, and the shedding of old identity. The Promised Land represents awakening a state of inner freedom and clarity. These are not destinations on a map. They are movements of consciousness. The Bible speaks in symbols because symbols reach places logic cannot. They bypass argument and speak directly to understanding. When read this way, Scripture stops contradicting experience and begins illuminating it. So why was this way of seeing lost? Over time, symbolic language was gradually flattened into literal instruction. Symbols require interpretation, and interpretation requires inner authority. Literalism, on the other hand, offers certainty. It removes ambiguity. It tells people what to believe rather than inviting them to see. What was once meant to awaken consciousness slowly became a system of explanation and control, not out of malice, but out of fear of uncertainty. And this is where many people find themselves today. They say quietly, I love the Bible, but I don't know how to relate to it anymore. They didn't leave in rebellion, they drifted away in confusion. A metaphysical interpretation does not ask them to abandon Scripture. It invites them to come home to it with honesty and dignity intact. As you hear this, notice what happens inside you. There is no right reaction. You may feel relief. You may feel resistance. You may feel curiosity or calm. Whatever arises is part of the revelation. Scripture was never meant to override your inner knowing. It was meant to awaken it. When the Bible is read symbolically rather than literally, something fundamental shifts. Prayer becomes communion instead of petition. Reading becomes reflection instead of evaluation. Faith becomes lived experience rather than agreement with doctrine. You stop striving to believe correctly. You begin learning how to see. If this way of understanding resonates, trust that resonance. The Metaphysical Bible Journey exists for people who want to remain spiritually grounded without living in fear, shame, or confusion. This is not a departure from faith. It is a return to depth,